Hello, listeners. Before we embark upon this brand new series of Faces of Virtue, I've got some exciting news to share. Yes, you may have heard the word trickling out here or there, but I'm here now to publicly confirm the guest cast for Crowley Time Live at this year's Edinburgh Fringe. I'm delighted to announce that for this, the one-night-only final ever performance of the Depony contingency, I'll be joined by Fringe favourites Kieran Hodgson and Lorna Rose Treen. Kieran has been selling out venues up and down the country with his fantastic new one-man show Voice of America, but you may know him best for his long-running regular role on BBC sitcom Two Doors Down, and his many other appearances on television, radio, and, of course, in the film The Flash. Lorna was the toast of last year's Edinburgh Fringe, taking home multiple 5-star reviews and awards for her debut hour Skin Pigeon, and she has also recently appeared in the excellent Radio 4 comedy show Time of the Week. Basically, it's top-draw character comedy talent all the way down, folks, and on top of that, it's your final chance to catch this first Crowley Time Live episode in the flesh. And remember, it's on for one night only at 7:40pm on Wednesday the 13th of August in the Pleasance Courtyard. It's also conveniently sandwiched between Lorna's new show 24-Hour Diner People at 6:20 and Kieran's aforementioned Voice of America at 9:30, both also in the Pleasance Courtyard. If there's a better triple bill at this year's Edinburgh Fringe, I'd like to see it. No, I really would. It sounds amazing. You can get your tickets at live.crowleytime.com and Kieran, Lorna and I will hope to see you there. But now... Crowley Time! In times of struggle, we must remember those who carve their own path. The game changers. The lane changers. The fries for a salad changers, if that's something I can do here. Those who gaze into the face of fear and say, gaze into the fist of insert your name here, and then punch fear. They are the Faces of Virtue! Brought to you by Salvutol Children's Cough and Discomfort Relief Linctus. Greetings and welcomes, listeners, to the fourth mini-series of this spin-off Investi-docu adventure, where Tom Crowley, seek out those brave few in our human society who dare to swim against the tide in the interests of bettering stuff and things. And this Investi-docu is now extra adventurous, thanks to my new sponsor, Salvutol Children's Cough and Discomfort Relief Linctus. Salvutol keeps children quiet. You see, in the world today, we're more convinced than ever that everything is rubbish and there's nothing we can do to change it. So, now, more than ever, I want to find the people who strive to improve the parts of the world they think just aren't cutting the mustard, and won't give up on their quest, no matter how hopeless the situation might be. And the good people at Salvutol understand that, because they wanted to improve the lives of parents whose children had an excess of phlegm and self-esteem and just generally knocked the edges off them a bit, and they blooming well did it, using a combination of mild painkillers, sweet flavourings, and trace alcohol byproducts. Salvutol, officially legal to give to children. So, emboldened by this new partnership, which I'm assured will become financial as soon as certain listenership quotas are met, I've gone off to find my boldest set of interviewees yet. And you'll be meeting 4 of them over the next 2 months. Our first is Michael Lapwing, a serial charity organiser from Halifax in West Yorkshire, who is in the process of launching his most ambitious venture ever. Thanks to Chris Cantrill for putting us in touch with Michael. Michael Lapwing, hello.
Hello, am I on the line?
You're on the line, I can hear you. Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for speaking to me today.
It's an honour, it's a pleasure to help raise the awareness of the campaign. Don't you think that's essential?
Well, I do think so. I think if there's no awareness, no one's aware of what you're doing, and we're not going to make much money, are you? Because nobody's going to know it's happening.
Exactly.
So here at Faces of Virtue, sponsored by Salvutol Children's Cough and Discomfort Relief Linctus, we're all about awareness, and that's what this whole series of interviews is about. Because as my listeners I'm sure already know, I'm someone who really believes, that charity begins at home and that activism begins at home. So I'm always keen to speak to people who are especially animated and active in helping people in their local area to improve the world around them. And I'm so impressed by people who try hard to look at the world, see wrongs that they perceive or inadequacies that they perceive, and themselves, roll their sleeves up and get stuck into that Jenga pyramid tower, get stuck in to making the world a better place. And you're someone who's really done that over the years, particularly with this latest venture, aren't you?
Oh, I've been a professional campaigner for coming up on 22 years.
22 years, wow.
22 wild years of trying to make people's lives better in a variety of ways. Who could forget some of the campaigns that I've done previously? I was a spearhead of Saffron for Foster Kids.
Saffron for Foster Kids. Now, I'm sure I saw that on BBC Breakfast at one point, so you really hit the national conversation.
Yeah, there was an epidemic of what led me to the BBC News regional. It was Harry Gresham, it was Look North. But what led them to us was there was an outburst of orange children.
Yeah.
Children with orange faces and hands. And they're like, where is this coming from? And it was from my charity, Saffron for Children. I was giving these children who were having a real tough time. I gave the children some saffron, and they, I just noticed it just perked them up a bit. These children, we're looking at children in the West Yorkshire area, they had little to no idea about the complexities of seasoning of herbs and spices.
No, I hear they were having very, very dull pasta sauces for one thing, and curries that were quite frankly not fit for purpose.
Yeah, I think that one of them had read about curry powder. That's as far as
once. Yeah,
exactly.
Incredible.
So I was like, this has to change. Has to change. And I was ordered to stop. But it completely changed how we delivered the function. How we delivered the charity, and I was advised. In very clear terms, not to be delivering just random foster children spices from the back of a van. So we changed the delivery. Mm-hmm. We took the spices into the foster homes.
Yeah.
And we did a sort of, like a spruce up of the spice kitchen. I felt strongly about it, still do, and we figured that the gateway to a healthier diet was more different spices,
Yeah, varying these things up, yeah.
Like saffron very much being the end point of the project. We'd start by trying to, get them onto Frank's hot sauce.
Yeah, simple, straightforward, and bold flavour. Kind of jumping in the deep end as well, because a nice sprinkling of, tarragon, that's a subtle flavour, but, a big splodge of Frank's hot sauce straight in the dome, that's quite an intense experience. But that's all in the past. That is a successful campaign that you've run because, as I say, it's led to a greater awareness of the need for diverse and varied spice diets for children and a bit more of culinary sophistication, how much that helps our young people. And that was all thanks to you. That was all thanks to Saffron for Foster Kids. So, you've proven a track record of successful campaigning.
But it's not just the successes in my life, of which there are many, that, but I've also failed, I tried to march on Westminster to ban the Costa Coffee Book Awards.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It was, it needs to stop. We cannot allow Costa Coffee to whitewash its reputation.
Yeah. Well, I know that there are a lot of very, Costa are a huge donor to the Conservative Party. And one sustained policy of the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom over the years has been to eradicate literacy among working class children. So I think there is a hypocrisy there that people aren't acknowledging.
Exactly. So I failed on that score. At one point, I got an online petition going to try and replace the red arrows with monster trucks. Because I thought it would be cool.
It would be cool. No one's denying that.
It was, you would be surprised the support the Red Arrows have.
Really?
At every level of society.
Wow. So from the ordinary janitor sweeping up our hallways to the highest levels of government, the Red Arrows have, their agents, their fans, their proponents.
Yeah. So, but each of these difficulties has been a learning point. It's a scar that I wear. If I take my shirt off, I'm full of scars. If someone sees that, it's striking, isn't it? man full of scars. Topless man full of scars walking down the high street. But
it's very, very striking.
It means that I'm well poised to take the mistakes, the humbling of being called mad for wanting to put monster trucks, like running through a fate.
Yeah, people, lunatic. Dangerous.
Lunatic. It's mad. Why are you doing that?
So I was looking on this news article. So it's your Wikipedia page, in fact, that linked to this news article. It says, upsettingly radical extremist. Is that a term that wounds?
It hurt. It hurt to say that, all I was trying to do was, because nobody forgets seeing a monster truck, do they? They're really big.
I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. I really don't think I ever have. I've seen pictures, videos. I feel like I'm bereft.
So imagine being at a fete, like a summer fete, and then there's a monster truck there. It would really it's like, it juxtapositions. It shows you the other side of the coin. Doesn't it? So imagine that. But, one little jam stall gets absolutely obliterated to a molecular level by a monster truck tyre. And
atomized,
you're going to get bad headlines. So after that, this is my, it's been a while since I've been in there. I had to become a paper boy.
What?
An adult paper boy. People won't listen to my, as a professional charity worker who gets paid for his time. That's just, that's just how it has to be.
You have to pay yourself, obviously.
You have to pay yourself. I can't do charity for free. That's not the definition of the word. But so I had to take some time away from professional fundraising.
How big was your route when you were a paper boy?
I did all of, Roseview. Roseview Terrace. Right over to the Gutters estate, it's quite a big route.
Do you have to go up the buildings as well? You have to go through and do the flats as well?
I had to do the high-rise, every single floor in the high-rise,
Wow.
This is not this is not an old man's route, No. Then when you join the post office, they give you the terrible routes. But, I won a lot of respect by doing every single letterbox in the high-rise.
Well, let's get to it. Yeah. Let's talk about that cause, because I'm, I'll let you introduce it, but this is your most ambitious strategy yet, I think, but certainly meets a need that I can't say I've seen addressed anywhere in the media or otherwise, really. So please tell us all about your new campaign.
So the reason I'm here today is to talk about an issue which is a cause that ever since I thought about it, and we're looking at 7 weeks ago now, has become very fundamental to my entire belief system. And that is that I passionately believe that mums should be allowed to go to space whenever they want.
Mums should be able to go to space whenever they want.
Yeah, I think recently we all watched on in wonder as Jeff Bezos' wife, Margaret Bezos, took some of her friends.
Yeah.
To
Sheila was one of them, I think, and Chrissy as well.
Yeah, she took her mates. She turned her mates into astronauts.
Yeah.
And took them into space. And it was shot and filmed with the same amount of reverence as like a proper space travel. Jeff Bezos and his lovely wife, Margaret, they were like, anybody can be an astronaut. All you need is, all you need to possess is a spirit for adventure.
Yeah.
And they took Katy Perry up with them. Katy Perry, who is a mother.
She's a mother, yeah. Known for it.
Yeah, big time. But I'd say she's primarily a mother. So she's gone up.
And a good one, a bloody good one.
And a bloody good one. Here. And that's why I say more to it. So what I believe is that we should get more mums up to space.
More mums in space. I mean, that is an incredible, I think you're right. The thing that you need to really get up to space is, a real sense of adventure and, the drive, the passion for space. But obviously another thing you need is several $1 billion to mount and test and then ultimately fly a spacecraft.
Yes.
So, I mean, break it down for us. How are you seeing this project panning out? Are you thinking of one kind of big mum space bus like a kind of saga coach tour to the seaside, but for space? Or is it more that you're trying to empower people to have their individual space rocket?
I think if we could live in a world where everybody had their own individual space rocket and they could fly around, I mean, that'd be one hell of a world, wouldn't it? But I don't want to live in a fantasy world. Mums have too much, and the truth is that mums still, even though times have moved on, mums still do carry the mental load of the family. They've got their husband saying, "Oh, look at this thing in a magazine. I think we should buy a Noonie pizza maker." You know, you got kids snapping at you. You've got friends.
You can get an even larger air fryer now. I think we need a larger air fryer.
Let's have a larger air fryer. So it's just it's ongoing. So I was inspired in part by, you know, Katy Perry could do it, and if Katy Perry could do it, then I think really anybody could do it. I think Katy Perry is a good
baseline sort of average, you know, competence level. Do you have children yourself, Michael?
Oh well, yeah, but. You know, God.
Well, but what?
Just going on and on and on a lot, you know.
They're on at you.
They're at that age where they go on and on and on a lot.
Oh, I see, okay. And how many kids do you have?
4.
4 kids, wow, okay. And do those children have a mum?
Yes, they do. A wonderful lady called Barbara, which isn't a common name now.
No, it's quite a few years since I met a young Barbara.
Yeah, and she's brilliant. She's the apple of my eyes, and I really, she's the inspiration for this campaign. I really want to send Barbara to space.
Okay.
Because she's just like, you know, she's not interested in all of the things I'm interested in.
Really?
And sometimes when me or the children speak, I can see that she visibly flinches. She flinches. Right. So I would like to send her, you know, give her a bit of like me time, but like we've tried it on planet Earth, but it just doesn't work out. Like she went for a spa break with the girls, but I mean, all I can say about EE is that their coverage is excellent. Do you know? There's not really any place in the UK that you can go where EE will find you. Now,
if there's one criticism of EE that you can level, it's that wherever you are on, well, certainly in the United Kingdom, a phone call saying, "Where's the Lego Death Star set? You know, we thought it was under the bed, but it's not there. Where is it?" That will reach you no matter where you go.
Exactly. Are the children allergic to spaghetti bolognese? You know, these questions, they will find you. And if by some mistake you do end up in a signal black spot, I've got carrier pigeons. Do you know what I mean?
Like dogs that can detect by smell.
Dogs, and it comes up,
and
you know.
carry a message in their collar,
A big St. Bernard with a barrel round its neck.
Full of problems.
To deliver to
an unassuming woman.
Urgent questions that need answering. And she said she's had enough. She doesn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, I'm a listener. And when she tells me that she has considered, it's not possible because you need the door shut, but she really wanted to just like climb in the microwave and microwave herself rather than listen to another question from me or my children who are they're very touching on being adults now, but they still would have the capabilities of a 5-year-old. You know, they can't really look after themselves. So she said, I just want to climb in the microwave and be microwaved into a puddle.
Put it on 5 minutes at full power and just get roasted.
Like she says, I think my skin would go up like mozzarella. You know, like a bit of mozzarella. It'd lose its form completely and then bubble over, molten hot. And she said, that's how I want to be. That's the state of being that I want to be. Molten hot so nobody could touch me and melted. And I heard that. I said, we need to get you some alone time. Let's get her just into the outer atmosphere so she can see that things aren't better up there.
So your wife, Barbara Lapwing, if she did take your last name, did she?
Yeah, she did, and the rest.
And the rest?
Yeah, she took my last name. And she wanted, you know, she forced my first name in there too.
Really? Barbara Michael Lapwing?
Yeah, mad, isn't it? But,
Do you have a middle name?
Yeah, it's Cole.
Cole.
Yeah.
So Barbara Michael Cole Lapwing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's not Cole as in C-O-L-E, it's Cole as in C-O-A-L. As in...
right.
Yeah.
The as in the sort of precious, dusty black rock.
Yeah, like pre-diamond, good time, burn fuel.
Yeah, burn fuel time, which is essential for if you're going to be launching any rockets anytime soon, ironically. Okay, so you're proposing that Barbara Michael Cole Lapwing, your wife, is the kind of pilot scheme for get mums up in space.
I want to send my wife to space. I'll be and then after, once she's done as the pioneering, she'll be the pioneer, and then after that, we will, bring in whoever. You can roll it out more broadly, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So have you thought about how you're going to take applications for mums, stressed mums? And also have you thought about possibly elder mums being included? Because, my mum, she's not stressed with raising any kids anymore, but she's certainly, she has general concerns, worries about the world or, I didn't get a statement from my bank. Have I been hacked? And having to go phone a helpline and they're playing like really, really repetitive music down the line at her. And maybe it's not even a real song. Maybe it's like a library loop that they just turn like round and round and round, like that kind of thing. She's concerned about that stuff. And, I wouldn't call her stressed necessarily, but it causes her some vexation at times. Would you consider an application from her, for example?
I think we'd be open in these early stages where we're still trying to figure out what's going on. That we would take applications from a variety of sources. I think I'd probably do it via a questionnaire, self-appointment, I think maybe it's just a standard, like a Google document, but then you can add photographs. You could add JPEG attachments and you could add a picture of your child and you could be like, I'd be very happy not to see them again, just to gauge, like, we'll do some hard stats, but then you can put in a personal statement to explain why you want to just get to the moon for an afternoon, just into the outer atmosphere.
Well, I'm glad to hear you bring up numbers as well, because as I mentioned earlier, Salvutol Children's Cough and Discomfort Relief Linctus is sponsoring this run of Faces of Virtue, and they're very keen to support, charitable ventures that, and also activist ventures, which I suppose this is, trying to get to the real crux of it and see who's making change in the world. That's my objective anyway. But they're very, very keen on hard numbers. They're keen on figures. That's what they want to hear. And when they signed up, they said, right, we want to deal with real serious customers here, because we at Salvutol, we're very proud that we've stopped 12.5 million children whining. And so, as you can imagine, that statistic is a point of great pride for them. And they want to hear similarly that any endeavour they're backing is bringing in big numbers like that. So tell me about the campaign so far, the campaign to send mums into space. What have you raised in terms of money? We're talking numbers, we're talking pence, we're talking decimal points. How much money have you raised so far?
Well, we've got an online donation form, and we're coming up on 17.
17 million pounds?
Well, 17.
17,000 pounds?
Yeah, like £17,000, but
like £17,000,
but maybe not quite as. We've just started.
Have you raised £17?
£17, but by the definition of what you were just saying, it's been a huge success. These are hard numbers. A 1 and a 7.
Yeah,
a 1 and a 7.
Those are numbers.
You could cut yourself on those numbers. Do you know?
You could. Well, they're very sharp ones. 7 especially.
Do you remember what if it was 28? Lovely, curvy, voluptuous numbers.
Yeah.
They'd be, they're not hard numbers at all. 28.
No, those are soft numbers. Yeah, they're like a swan and a buxom lady. That's kind of what we're talking about. Those aren't edgy, hard concepts. 17. That's more of a kind of, a palace guard standing to attention and an old man with a hunched back. These are sharp, harsh images.
Yeah, shocking images. So it's a great place to start. That's, in terms of metrics, you take that to the bank.
Okay.
I send it.
And you have.
I'm gonna take it to Jeff Bezos and say, please let my wife Barbara on the next trip. Here's some money.
Oh, so you're not against partnering with Bezos for the pilot scheme?
Well, the only way into space is via the benevolence of billionaires.
So you're thinking about working with Jeff. He's happy because he's already sent his wife up there. Whether she's a mum or not, I don't know. I assume that Jeff Bezos has, this is pure speculation, but I'm going to assume he has something in the region of, several dozen children with a host of various women, some, married to him, some not. But whether his current wife has children and is a mum, I don't know. But anyway, so he's taken a woman who is potentially a possible mum up there. So he's probably thinking, well, what have you got to offer me? Why should I send any other mums up there? Your wife, mum. Why should I send her up there? And what would you say to him?
I would say it's a complete tax write-off.
Oh.
Because it's technically charity. You could do a lot, and there's a lot of things you can do as a charity person,
Mm-hmm.
You could buy yourself a new suit.
Yeah.
You could buy yourself a Domino's pizza and charge it back to the charity.
Yeah,
and you won't be getting taxed on that money. And that's why
that's true.
That's the reason to do charity, really, isn't it?
You could even say this phone call we're having now, you can write this off as, what's his time valued at? Probably, $3.5 million a minute or something, or a second.
We're raising awareness, and it isn't cheap.
Yeah.
In this economy.
So, that makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, so you're up to £17. That's banked. £17 is in the bank. And I'm assuming that came from, well-wishers, people you know personally, people who also agree that your wife needs a bit of a rest from you and the kids.
Yeah. And then if she wants to come back to Earth, she can. If she wants to drift off into the cosmos, like Dr. Manhattan, that's okay too.
Yeah, okay. So give her manual controls and she can make her own decision. That's nice.
Yeah, give her manual controls and a button if she just wants to open all the airlocks and just sort of be frozen in deep space. And that's okay. Whatever you want, baby. That's the overwhelming message of today.
Yeah, absolutely. And fair enough. And I think that, you've made it clear it's her choice. So I don't want to influence her too much. But what I would say is if she took that capsule quite close to Earth's sun, and just sat in it like a bit too close to Earth's sun, that would be quite similar to the experience of being microwaved in your own kitchen.
Exactly. She wants to chart a pathway to right into the path of an oncoming solar flare,
Yeah, and then get sizzling. Yeah,
it sounds like a good Mother's Day to me.
It does. Okay, well, how then are you moving forward? What's coming up next that people can help with, get involved in? Any events or any other campaigns you're running to get money coming in?
Doing a sponsored walk.
Okay.
As the minute we end this conversation, sponsored silence.
Oh, okay.
Getting mums to sort of mums to make some, like mums that could do graphic design.
I've only got two criticisms right away. I'm sorry to be so critical straight away, but I only have two criticisms about the sponsored silence. One is based on what you've told me about your wife's previous attempts to get, moments, peace and quiet. You will not be able to do that.
Yes.
And second question I have is that possibly for the spokesman of a charitable cause who's raising awareness, being silent, for a long time isn't necessarily the best strategy.
Well, what if I told you this? I'm not saying any words, but I'm wearing like a traditional one-man band type get-up.
Okay.
So I'm banging my foot, tambourines going. Bang, drum goes. Back. People, if you drive in your car, you're turning and you're looking. There's a sign at the top that says a QR code. It's got a QR code on it. You scan the QR code, you go to a website, my personal website. You read 700 words of an extract from my first fantasy novel that I'm writing, and then at the bottom of the page in the footer in the privacy section of the website, there is a link to the GoFundMe.
The GoFundMe website. Okay,
yeah, it's a simple. We've basically tried to take out as many obstacles. So it's.
Yeah. No, I see. Anyway, well, it sounds like a really compelling cause, and I would also say it definitely sounds like your wife is in dire need of a break. So I would suggest, keep up the fundraising, get her into space, or possibly just you and the kids, maybe get her some kind of padlock that she can have as her own, that she can set her own code on. and then go to some sort of storage unit, one of those big yellow storage like rental places.
Yeah.
And get you and the kids locked in one of those lead-lined storage, climate-controlled storage containers for maybe just a Sunday afternoon. And, then maybe we've inverted the problem and the solution where you and the kids are knocking about in there. You've had your phones confiscated, and then maybe that gives her a break as well. And that would be a lot cheaper. You might be able to pull it off for the £17 you've already raised, just as a backup plan.
I think that's good. I mean, I personally will not yield until my wife's in space. But this is maybe a good stopgap. And isn't that what charity's about? Just doing a little bit where it will affect the root cause, but it will be a sticky plaster.
Yeah.
It's a temporary measure that long-term does nothing.
Yeah.
And isn't that what charity is, when you really get down to the heart of it?
When you really dig down into it, yeah. And I mean, certainly trying to apply that sticking plaster, that kind of superficial fix, that is, on a small, very local in your case, level, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking into here with Faces of Virtue, sponsored by Salvutol Children's Cough and Discomfort Relief Linctus. And for that reason, I'm delighted, Michael Lapwing, to welcome you into the hallowed halls of the Faces of Virtue.
Thank you. It's an honour to be among such great names.
You're welcome. And thank you for speaking to me today.
And perhaps you could donate some of your personal money, Tom, to the campaign.
No, all the best and lots of love.
Bye.
Michael might have a long way left to go, but his sheer ambition can't be argued with. Sometimes I think that anybody can make a real difference in this world, as long as they have total and complete self-belief. And I don't mean being quite confident, I mean absolute belief in oneself, total confidence that cannot be swayed by any amount of criticism, adversity, or pleas for sanity. And perhaps there's a lesson for all of us there. And don't forget, if you want to hear even more from Michael, you can get the full, uncut and unrated great big version of our conversation at patreon.com/Crowley-time if you sign up to support this show at any paid tier. It's the most direct way to support me in making this show, and it helps to pay the bills until Salvutol are convinced that my download numbers are big enough for them to bother opening their banking app. Plus, it will get you access to all the great big Faces of Virtue episodes ever, and all the other bonus material I've ever put out. But is it worth it? Well, here's a taste of what you've been missing out on from this episode.
Can you imagine having Frank's hot sauce and rolling 3 D6 dice?
Kingdom of Ong, Book 1, The Pamphlet Reader.
Yes. A lot of people who work as postmen, they're on the run for internet crimes.
Your fantasy novel may have middle act problems. Get me some of that astronaut business. But who are these people who already get to hear all these extra treats? Well, they're my wonderful, generous supporters, and I thank them all. But a special mention must go to the most magnificent of them, my executive producers! Michaela McNally, Matthew Del Fabro, James Rayliff, George Cantor, Sophie Walker, Aileen Joins, Andy Case, Diggory Laycock, Dr. The Eliminator, Katrina Powers, Kim M, Charlie Markley, Purple Strawberry, Samantha Dye and Peter Shanks, James Roberts, Amanda Waterman, Gigi Catherine, Tobias Anderson, Rachel Delaney, Meme, Matt Luckcuck, Laurel Carlson, Paul Tiemann, and Brian Shymick. That's patreon.com/Crowley-time to sign up for great big Faces of Virtue and much more besides. Once again, I'd like to thank Chris Cantrill for putting me in touch with Michael. Chris is an Edinburgh Comedy Award-nominated stand-up comedian whose work is always worth checking out wherever he appears. But most of all, I implore you to listen to his podcast, Rural Concerns, where Chris, fellow stand-up Sunil Patel, and producer James Shakeshaft compare their lives in the countryside, the city, and the suburbs, respectively, and speak profoundly about the nature of existence, and also talk total rubbish about vaping and computers. Whatever the case, it's an essential weekly listen for me, and I strongly advise that you give it a try. And don't forget to check back in 2 weeks when another exciting guest will put their case to me as to why they should be numbered among the Faces of Virtue.